Sankirtan Katha, I have a really sore throat. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajika Charya Stotarastata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupada Paramahansa Parivrajika Charya Stotarastata Shri Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anandakoti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Singho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhupada Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gogopinath Shamkund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavandam Ki Jai. Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Sri Nam Sankirtan Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Haribo Prabhus. What a wonderful festival.
Ovo je jako lep festival.
Wherever the devotees come, the Lord comes, the Lord manifests here on this mountain in the middle of nowhere, and 100 deities come.
Gdje god bakte dođu božanstva, čak i na vrhu ove planine stotine božanstva.
Prabhupada said once,
Prabhupada je jednom rekao,
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement is going all over the world.
Pokret gospodina Chaitanje se širi cijelim svetom.
Even in the most remote place.
Čak i na najneuobičajenijim mestima.
And he said, what is it?
I onda je rekao, kako se zove to mesto?
Yugoslovakia.
Jugoslovakija.
Prabhupada said Yugoslovakia.
Prabhupada je rekao Jugoslovakija.
Some remote place.
Tako nepoznato mesto.
But you come to a remote place with Vaishnavas.
Kad dođete u tako udaljeno mesto sa baktama.
And what happens? All of a sudden there's hundreds of devotees, hundreds of deities, there's prasadam, there's even Rath Yatra in Novi Sad.
Šta se desi? Stotine bakta, stotine božanstava, prasadam I čak I Rath Yatra u Novom Sadu.
These are the possibilities when someone gets involved in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission.
To su mogućnosti, ili to ono što se desi kad neko uključen u službu gospodina Chaitanya.
I'm so glad I'm here. Personally, I don't like to travel because it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, and austere.
Drago mi je da sam ovdje. Ja lično ne volim da putujem jer je strogost I nije udobno.
So when I flew 15 hours from the U.S. to Belgrade,
Kad sam leteo 15 sati od američkih država do ovdje,
I had jet lag, and I also caught some horrible fever with sore throat.
Imao sam jet lag I imam temperaturu I grlo boli.
Then I had to go to the doctor in Valjevo and get some horrible antibiotic.
Morao sam da idem kod lekara I da uzmem neke užasne antibiotike.
And as if that wasn't enough, then I went to the dentist and had a root canal.
To nije bilo sve, još sam morao da idem kod zubara I vadili su mi živac.
You ever had a root canal?
Jeste ikad imali, da su vam ikad vadili živac.
So my wife says, what should we do? You're sick, root canal? I said, we have to go because Jayapataka Maharaj is there, Satyananda Maharaj is there, her guru, Bhakti Vaibhava Maharaj, here, Krishna Kshetra. I said, we have to go, and I don't care if I'm sick, I need to get this association.
I kad me žena pitala šta sad da radimo, ja sam rekao, nema veze, idemo gde su Satyananda Maharaj, guru Bhakti Vaibhava Maharaj, Krishna Kshetra, Prabhu, Kadamba.
Hundreds of devotees and ecstatic, most ecstatic Novi Sad Rath Yatra.
Stotine bakta I najekstatičnija Rath Yatra u Novom Sadu.
That day I was so tired and my throat hurt and my headache and I was still in the fever and I was taking medicine and I couldn't eat.
Bio sam tako umoran I grlo me boli, imao sam temperaturu, nisam mogao da govorim.
But I said I'm going on Rath Yatra even if I die.
Ali idem na Rath Yatru čak I ako umrem.
And as soon as I got there, I met devotees on the street distributing books.
Čim sam došao tamo, prvo koga sam sreo su bili bakte na ulici delili knjige.
And the magic medicine of Lord Chaitanya cured me and I was on Sankirtan on the street in Novi Sad.
I magični lek gospodina Chaitanya me izlečio, ja sam bio na ulici Novog Sada.
I got the mercy, I got to distribute my first Serbian Bhagavad
I
Gita.
dobio sam milost, podelio sam prvu Bhagavad Gitu na srpskom.
So I just have this personal testimony that whatever is going on in your life, good, bad, ugly, you surrender and do a little seva and associate with devotees and pretty much everything is okay.
Ja lično mislim što god da se dešava u mom životu, jednostavno ako se predaš Krišni, onda je sve u redu.
Eneche al saudi maya nasi baralagi. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, the medicine to wipe out all your diseases and problems is Harinam.
Bhaktivinoda kaže da je lek za sve bolesti Harinam.
Also, I want to offer Dandavats in total respect and amazement at what the devotees have done here in the middle of nowhere, the way they come here and they set up the altar, the kitchen, and everything is functioning seemingly. I mean, I don't hear the inside story because I don't speak Serb, but seemingly everything's flowing very nicely.
Hoću da odam tandevan i poštovanje svim baktama koji su ovo organizovali, jer izgleda da sve tako divno funkcioniše. Ne znam unutrašnje priče, ali izgleda sve dobro.
And I've been in this ISKCON family for 40 years, and I know how hard it is to organize anything, especially big thing, especially with not much facility.
Ja sam u porodici ISKCON zadnjih 40 godina i znam kako je jako teško organizovati bilo šta, posebno u ovakvim okolnostima.
So these devotees, I know a few of them. I'm sure there's many more, but Balalasva, Bhakti, Amadvamuni, Kishori, etc., etc. What's the other one? Bhakti Granta. Such humility, such workers, you know. I will work for Krishna, I will work for Prabhupada. I don't care about my sense gratification. I do this for the mission.
Tako su ponizni i oni jednostavno rade za Krishnu. Ja ću raditi ovo za Krishnu i za misiju.
And you can see the result. When devotees surrender to Krishna, things happen. When Prabhupada surrendered to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's order, the holy name of Krishna was spread around the world.
I vidite kakvi su rezultati kad se Bhakta preda Krishni, kad se Srila Prabhupada predao Krishni. Onda se cijela misija proširila po cijelom svijetu.
Anyway, I would like to share with you briefly how I came to Krishna consciousness. And I believe because the way I came to the mission is why I'm a missionary devotee.
I verujem da način na koji sam ja postao Bhakta je razlog zašto sam još uvek Bhakta.
When I was a teenager, I had come in contact with devotees. There was free concerts in my town. I lived in a college town.
Kad sam bio teenager, živio sam u gradu koji ima fakultet i tu sam došao u susret sa Bhaktama.
And every week they would have rock concerts.
Svake nedelje su imali rock koncert.
And every week devotees would come there with incense, prasadam, books, big posters of Krishna.
I svake nedelje Bhakta bi došli sa incensima, knjigama, velikim posterom Krishna.
And 3 different occasions I met the devotees.
3 puta sam sreo Bhakte.
Walking to the park one day to go to the concert, devotees said, "Will you carry something for me?"
Jednom, dok sam hodao kroz park, jedan Bhakta mi je prišao i pitao, možeš da nosiš, da mi pomogneš da nosim nešto.
So he gave me mridanga around my neck. I carried mridanga over the bridge over to the concert site.
Dao mi je mridangu, stavio mi oko vrata da nosim preko mosta do strane gdje je bio koncert.
And then when I was leaving, he said, "No, wait, here." And he gave me a sweet ball.
I kad sam hteo da odem, onda mi je dao kao slatku kuglicu.
My first prasadam.
Moj prvi prasadam.
At the time I was a macrobiotic. I was eating brown rice and garlic.
U to vreme sam bio makrobiotičar, jeo sam smeđu rižu i beli luk.
No sugar, no milk, you know.
Nema, bez šećera, bez mleka.
I tasted that sweet ball. I said, "What is this?"
Probao sam tu slatku kuglicu i pitao se šta je ovo.
He said, "It's Krishna's mercy."
Kažem, rekli su mi to je Krishnina milost.
Then I met him again at another concert.
Onda sam ponovo sreo Bhakte na drugom koncertu.
This time a friend of mine had taken a bottle of orange juice and put 25 hits of LSD in the orange juice.
Drugi put moj prijatelj je imao bocu soka od naranđa, ali je unutra stavio LSD drogu.
So we drank the orange juice.
Mi smo popili takozvani sok od naranđa.
I don't know if you know anything about psychedelics, but it changes perception. Everything turns color, everything's different, and
I te vrste droga promene sve boje i sve izgleda drugačije.
So in this concert, 20,000 people, I'm stumbling through the concert, just walking like an idiot.
Mi smo tu prošli kroz koncert kao idioti.
And I come face to face with a devotee.
I ispred mog lica se pojavio Bhakta.
He takes one look in my eyes and says, "Oh my God."
Pogledao me i rekao, o moj Bože.
Please sit down.
Molim te, sedi dole.
So I sit down and he gives me a full plate of prasadam with rice, sabji, halava and juice.
Seo sam i on mi dao cijeli tanjer sa prasadamom, riža, halava, sok.
So he sits with me as I eat, and he's telling me, you know, eat this, blah, blah, you know, tells me about God.
On je seo sa mnom I rekao mi je, jedi ovo.
So I ate that prashadam. That's the second contact I
Ja sam
had.
uzeo taj prasadam, to je bilo drugi put kad sam sreo Bhakti.
Maybe 1 month later, I was riding my bicycle down the street.
Mjesec dana kasnije vozim bicikl ulicom.
Divyanga Prabhu was standing there with a piece of incense in his hand in a dhoti.
Divyanga Prabhu je stajao sa incensom u ruci I u dotiju.
He hands me the incense. I stop. I'm holding the incense, and he says, "Hare Krishna, can you give a donation?"
Dao mi je incens I kaže, možeš dati donaciju.
Sure. So I give him $5.
Naravno, dao mu $5.
And he can't believe I gave him so much. He goes, $5, I have to give you something. Come to my car.
On nije mogao da veruje, dao sam mi $5 za ovo, kao dođi sa mnom do kola.
So he takes me to his car and gives me his own personal Bhagavad Gita. They just had the new Macmillan Bhagavad Gita. This was 1972.
I to je bilo 1972. On mi je dao njegovu ličnu Bhagavad Gitu.
Shows me the Gita, says this is Krishna, the Supreme Lord, this is Arjuna.
Pokazao mi je Bhagavad Gitu I kaže, ovo je Krishna, ovo je Arjuna.
Read this book, your life become perfect.
Čitaj ovu knjigu I tvoj život će postati
It's
savršen.
true. True story. So I take the Gita home.
Ja uzmem Bhagavad Gitu kući
And I say to my friends, look, I got this.
I pokažem prijateljima, gledaj šta sam dobio.
One friend, the rascal of the bunch, opens the Gita and starts looking to find what is this, and he finds something about celibacy.
Jedan od mojih prijatelja gledao kroz Bhagavad Gitu I kao šta je ovo, gledaj se.
Strašno! And we're like, so we put it on the shelf with due respect, but we're not ready yet.
Zatvorimo Bhagavad Gitu I stavimo na policu sa svim poštovanjem, ali mi još nismo spremni
But
za
Srila
ovo.
Prabhupada says if they just respect the book,
Srila Prabhupada kaže, ako neko samo poštuje knjigu,
then they can make progress.
može da napravi napredak.
I didn't read that Gita, but I put it on the shelf. I said, okay.
Nisam čitao Bhagavad Gitu, ali sam je stavio na policu.
2 months later,
2 mjeseca kasnije,
I'm walking down the street, of course, going to the concert.
idem ulicom, naravno, opet na koncert.
My friend and I are sharing a Heineken and eating peyote.
I moj prijatelj,
Pivo, peyote, yeah.
neku vrstu droge.
Hallucinogenic additives. Then I see a van full of devotees going to the gas station.
Onda je naišao kombi sa baktama, pun bakta, koji idu na benzinsku pumpu.
I know they're going to the concert. I say, let's go get a ride.
I ja sam znao da idu na koncert, pa sam htio da ih pitam da me povezu.
My friend says, I'm not going to ride with those people.
Moj prijatelj kaže, ja neću da ulazim u kombi sa ovim ljudima.
I said, see you later.
Ja kažem, vidimo se kasnije.
I walked over to the van and said, Hare Krishna, are you going to the concert?
Dođem do kombije i pitam, Hare Krishna, idete na koncert?
And Mrigendra Prabhu says, get in.
Sankirtan Katha koji je veliki advokat, kaže, ulazi.
I sit in the van. There's nothing in the van but boxes of books and 5 devotees.
Uđem u kombi I unutra 5 bakta I samo knjige, kutije sa knjigama.
You have no seats, just boxes of books.
Nema sedišta, samo knjige, kutije sa knjigama.
So Mrigendra hands me Bhagavatam.
I Mrigendra mi da Bhagavatam.
Then he hands me Bhagavad Gita.
Onda
And I
Bhagavad
said, I
Gita.
have this.
Kažem, ja imam ovu
So they
knjigu.
took it back, gave me Nectar Devotion.
On uzme Bhagavad Gita, da mi nektar devocije.
And they had a couple of the books, Ishapanishad, Beyond Birth and Death. He piles me up.
I naređa mi sve knjige.
I happen to have $90 in my
Ja
pocket.
sam imao $90 desilo se u džepu.
So I give him 20.
Dam mu 20.
Then he finds another book and piles it on and says, can you give another 20?
On izvuče drugu knjigu i kaže, možda daš još 20.
I said, here. So I just gave him the $90.
Ja
Let's
mu
get
dam
this over.
svih 90.
So then they say, we're going to chant, have kirtan.
Onda su mi rekli, sad ćemo imati kirtan, pevat ćemo.
So we parked the van at the concert site.
Parkirali smo kombi gdje je koncert bio.
And we sing kirtan for maybe 30 minutes.
I pevali smo, imali smo kirtan pola sata.
And these devotees are in dhotis, shaved head, tilak.
I bakte su bili u dotiju, obrijani glava sa tilakom.
So after the kirtan, they said, now, here's what we do.
Posle kirtana su rekli, ovo je sad što mi radimo.
They changed their clothes,
Presvukli su
took
se,
off the tilak,
skinuli tilak
got book bags and big things of incense.
Imali su velike ove torbe sa knjigom i veliki svežanj incensa.
And they say, come on, Bhakta Dan, we're going to go on Sankirtan.
Kaže, Bhakta Dan, idemo u Sankirtan.
So I sell my ticket.
Prodam svoju kartu za
I got the
koncert.
book bag and the incense.
Uzmem torbu i incens.
And we start working the concert.
I počnemo da radimo koncert.
And I see my friends.
I vidim moje prijatelje.
McCready, what are you doing?
McCready, šta bi s tobom?
Well, we're going to see the Moody Blues. What are you doing?
Idemo da vidimo taj Moody Blues koji je bio koncert.
I said we're doing Sankirtan.
Ja im kažem,
I don't even know what it is.
radimo Sankirtan, mada nisam znao šta to
So
znači.
we do this concert for, I don't know, 2 hours, distribute books, distribute this incense and collect donations.
I za 2 sata smo delili knjige, incense, skupljali donacije.
And it's dark and it's late and the devotees say, you want to come and visit our temple?
Već je kasno i uveče i Bhakta me pita, hoćeš da dođeš s nama da posjetiš naš hram?
What the hell, yeah, okay. I mean, okay.
Naravno.
It's about 60 miles, maybe, 80 or 90 kilometers to the temple, so we drive to the temple. And when we get to the temple, the temple president comes down with this huge maha plate.
To je bilo nekih 90 km od hrama i temple president dođe sa tanjirom, velikim tanjirom sa mahaprasadom.
On this tray, there's gulab jamans and halava and white puris with powdered sugar and hot milk.
Gulab jaman i puri sa belim šećerom u prahu i mlekom.
I'm a macrobiotic. I eat brown rice.
Ja kažem, ja sam makrobiotičar, jedem samo smeđu rižu.
They say here, and I eat it.
Uzmi, ja sam pojela.
And it was so good. I was dying for that. It was ghee and sugar and butter. It's nectar. I ate that.
Bilo je tako dobro, sav taj maslac i ghee i šećer.
And it's like midnight.
Ponoće.
And they say, we go to bed now because we get up early.
Kaže, sad moramo u krevet jer ustajemo jako rano.
I didn't know how early.
Nisam znao koliko to je rano.
I lay down, I fall asleep.
Zaspala sam.
That night in that sleep, I had a dream about Krishna.
I te noći sam sanjao sam Krishna.
And I was being killed and Krishna appeared and saved me.
Sanjao sam da me neko ubija i Krishna je došao da me spasi.
2 seconds later, they wake me up with cartels. Haribol, Haribol, Mangalarti, Haribol, Mangalarti.
2 sekunde kasnije su me probudili sa karatalama.
They wrapped me up in a dhoti and they put tilak.
Stavili su mi dhoti i tilak.
I got hair down to here and earrings.
Imao sam dugu kosu i minđuša.
And I'm in the temple and they open the curtain and there's Radha Kunja Bihari.
Kad su otvorili...
Yeah, Radha Kunja Bihari ki jai! That was at the temple in Detroit, Michigan, Davison. It was before Davison, but Detroit.
Bilo u Detroitu, Michiganu.
Now, I didn't have my glasses.
Nisam imao naočare.
I was a hippie and I thought these glasses, these are nonsense.
Ja sam bio hippie, mislio sam ove naočare su...
So I couldn't see very well. I saw flowers and everything, and I saw Radha Kunjabi sort of, but it was vague.
Nisam mogao dobro da vidim, video sam cveće, nisam mogao dobro da vidim božanstva. Onako zamagljeno.
But on the next altar they had huge Jagannath.
Ali na oltaru pored toga su imali ogromne Jagannath.
And even blind I could see Jagannath.
Čak i tako gotovo slep mogao sam da vidim Jagannath.
Huge eyes, I saw Jagannath, Subhadra Balaram. I was like, wow!
Ogromne
I see
oči.
them.
Jagannat, Baladev, Subhadra. Vidim ih.
Anyway, so that day after prasad, again we sat down, we ate prasadam.
I tog dana, naravno, opet smo imali prasadam.
And Prabhu, who was the leader of the party that I joined, Magendra, Prabhu, other devotees.
Prabhu koji je bio vođa tog.
So Prabhu comes and says, Bhakta Dan, how do you like it? And I say, oh, I like it.
Bhakta Dan, kako ti se sviđa ovdje? Ja sam rekao, pa sviđa mi se.
He says, so what do you want to do? Back to Ann Arbor, your home, or would you rather come out at Sankirtan?
Onda me pitao, hoćeš da ideš nazad kući ili bi radije išao s nama u Sankirtan?
And I thought that if I'm sincere, I have to say yes to this.
Ja sam mislio, ako sam zaista iskren, moram da kažem da.
So I said, of course, I want to go on Sankirtan.
Rekao sam, naravno da hoću da idem u Sankirtan.
So that day we went out and we distributed Bhagavad Gitas and other books on Sankirtan all day on Sankirtan.
I mi smo otišli u Sankirtan, delili smo Bhagavad Gitu cijeli dan.
7 hours later, he says, you want to go back to Ann Arbor, or would you rather just go back to the temple and take prasadam?
Posle 7 sati Sankirtana pitali su me jel bi radije išao kući ili hoćeš da ideš na prasadam u templu.
So I go back to the temple and take prasadam and we do the whole thing again. We go to bed, we go to Mangalarti, morning program, and we go on a Sankirtan again. Same thing. You want to go home? Sankirtan.
I ponovo je bilo odem u templu na prasadam, onda su me pitali hoćeš da ideš kući, ne, hoću u Sankirtan.
So basically that's what happened to me. I joined a van.
I u osnovi to je što mi se desilo, ja sam se pridružio Sankirtan kombiju.
What it is it's when it's the time for the jiva to get that mercy.
Jer kad je vreme za dživu, dušu da dobije tu milost,
then it doesn't matter what you were thinking, that's just what happens.
Onda više nije važno šta vi mislite, jednostavno se desi.
I wanted a ride to the concert.
Ja sam hteo samo prevoz do koncerta, to je sve što sam ja hteo.
And I'm 17, I joined the thing.
Ja sam bio 17 godina star, ali sam se pridružio.
And you got to understand, in between selling the books, Ragendra and Prabhanu, they're reading to me constantly. We're hearing all the time.
I svo vreme dok delimo između deljenja knjiga, Rigenda i Prabhanu mi čitaju knjige.
And the more you read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, because they would give me the book and say read, I would open the book and I would read a sentence and fall asleep. So I said, no, Bhaktidan, stay awake, we'll read to you. So they read to me, so I was hearing constantly.
Oni su mi čitali knjigu, jer ako bih kad ja počnem da čitam, zaspao bih posle prve rečenice, tako da su oni stalno.
Maybe 10 days later, we went back to their temple that they were traveling from, which was a couple hundred miles away from my house.
Posle 10 dana smo otišli do hrama iz kog su oni bili, jer su putovali okolo, to je bilo bliže moje kući.
And I went to my first Sunday feast.
I to je bio moj prvi Sunday feast.
And after that kirtan, we used to have kirtan, lecture, prasadam, and then after the feast, another kirtan.
Mi smo imali kirtan, lekciju, prasadam i nakon toga još.
And after that kirtan, the temple president came to me and said, Bhaktidan, how would you like to join this thing?
Onda me temple president pitao, Bhaktidan, da li bih hteo da nam se pridružiš, da ostaneš sa nama?
I said, sure. He said, shave up.
Kaže, naravno, onda idi ošišan se, nisam imao dugu kosu.
What could I say? I couldn't say no because I wanted to be sincere.
Nisam mogla da kažem ne, jer hteo sam da budem ozbiljan.
So I shaved up. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Hvala Prabhu, Šila Prabhupada.
Now, from that day on, ever since then, that was 1973, I've been brainwashed to take to this hearing and chanting process. Prabhupada said, Bhakti Yoga means Shravanam Kirtan.
I od tog dana 1973.
I said, Bhakti Yoga is Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu.
Ja sam brainwashed. Isprali su mi mozak I Bhakti Yoga je Shravanam Kirtanam.
And by constant hearing, we can stay in association with Prabhupada and Krishna.
I stalnim slušanjem možemo da ostanemo u društvu Prabhupada I Krishna.
And when you're in constant association with your spiritual master and Krishna,
I kad ste u stalnom društvu sa duhovnim učiteljem I Krishnom,
anything can happen.
Sve je moguće.
My parents found out I joined.
Moji roditelji su saznali da sam postao bhakta.
My mother called my father at the office and said, your son joined the Hare Krishnas. What is it?
Moja mama je nazvala mog oca u kancelariju I rekla, sin ti je postao Hare Krishna, šta je to?
I mean, we had heard it because the Beatles and, because a Sgt. Pepper album, elementary penguins singing Hare Krishna, so we had heard it.
Mi smo čuli Hare Krishna preko Beatlesa.
George Harrison, My Sweet Lord, chanting, etc., all things must pass. So my father said, oh, I know those Hare Krishnas, they wear orange, they have bald heads, and they're on the corners of the streets in Detroit.
Moj otac je rekao, znam ja Hare Krishna, oni nose one naranđastu odjeću, nemaju kosu I pevaju na ulici.
And my father said, the good news is they don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't do anything bad.
I moj otac je rekao, dobra stvar je u tome da oni ne piju, ne puše, ne rade ništa loše.
My mother said, he'll be back in 2 days.
I moja mama kaže, onda će se on vratiti za 2 dana.
We're Irish, we're American, we're in Malaysia, Yavana. The Irish, they drink every day, kind of like the Serbs.
Roditelji su
Kivali!
I oni, Irci su poznati po tome da piju kao I Srbi.
So after 6 months I'm in the temple, my father came to the temple, he couldn't believe.
Posle 6 meseci moj otac došao u hram jer nije mogao da veruje.
And when he came into the temple, he saw there was this big, we had a chalkboard with the Sankirtan scores up there, and I was at the top.
I kad je ušao u hram, imali smo ovdje tablu sa kredom i vidio da sam ja bio na vrhu liste.
It would say the book numbers, the name, the book numbers, and then the money. Lakshmi points.
Pisalo bi ime, broj knjiga i koliko novca iskolektira.
My father noticed that he's a marketing manager for Ford, and that's what he did. He sold and made a lot of money, and he saw that. He said to the president, he said, well, my son's a good salesman, yeah?
Moj otac je menadžer, on je bio menadžer u Fordu, prodavao je zapravo kola iz Forda za sve dilere i bio je jako uspješan u tome. Ja bih pogledao na tablu, vidio da je bio na prvom mjestu. Kaže, moj sin je dobar prodavac.
And then he says, the second thing is, well, what about this no drinking, no smoking, no sale?
A onda je pitao, šta sa tim, nema pušenja, nema pijenja?
Regular principles. Prabhupada made that point. He said when he came to Boston, he looked out and he said, as soon as I mention the 4 regular principles, they will say, please go home.
Da 4 principa, Prabhupada je isto rekao, čim ljudi vide 4 regulativna principa, mi kaže, idi kući.
So they told my father about it and how that I couldn't live there if I didn't obey these rules.
I onda su rekli mom ocu da ja ne bi mogao da budem u hramu ako ne bi poštovao 4 regulativna principa.
My father, who doesn't hug people, hugged the devotee and said, thank you for saving my son.
Moj otac koji nikad nikog nije zagrlio je bakte i rekao, hvala vam što ste spasli mog sina.
These stories are all over. Whenever I meet devotees, you ask them how they came.
Ovakve priče kad god se sretnem sa baktama i pitam ih kako su došli.
Because when you come in contact with Nitai, Gaur, and Prabhupada, your life is drastically changed.
Jer kad dođete u kontakt sa Nitai, Gaurangom, onda se vaš život potpuno, drastično promeni. Potpuno promeni.
And it always happens. I know that just came in my mind, there was a devotee distributing books at the zoo.
Bio jedan bakta koji je delio knjige ispred zoološkog vrta.
To the people, not to the animals.
Naravno delio knjige ljudima, ne životinjama.
So he sells a Gita to this girl, and then the boyfriend came and said, I don't like this. If you want to ride home, throw the book away.
On je podelio knjigu jednoj devojci, međutim njen mladić je došao i rekao, ako hoćeš da ideš nazad kući, vrati knjigu.
Girl said, I'm walking, I'm keeping the Gita.
I ona je rekla, ja ću ići peške, ali hoću da zadržim ovu knjigu.
A couple of years later, that girl joined the temple, became a devotee, same thing.
Par godina kasnije došla je u hram, postala bakta.
So how important is it to give the conditioned souls some prashadam, some books, some association, some nam, something?
Da vidimo koliko je važno da damo uslovljenim dušama knjigu, prasadam, sveto ime, bilo šta.
Devotees, Prabhupada said that once one is Krishna conscious, it is his duty to distribute it.
Šrila Prabhupada kaže, kad ste jednom svesni Krishna, onda je vaša dužnost da delite.
So we started going out and distributing books then after I shaved up, and we did full-time Sankirtan, 7 days a week. And in LA they decided, let's try the airport.
Naravno, kad sam postao bakta, kad su me obrijali, onda smo radili Sankirtan 7 dana, svih 7 dana u nedelji, onda su otišli smo na aerodrom u Los Angelesu.
So we said, well, we're in Cleveland, we have an airport, so we went to the airport. Mergendra, myself, and others.
Ja sam bio u Clevelandu, to je pored, onda smo otišli Mergendra i drugi bakte, otišli smo tamo.
And we start distributing books in the airport, and immediately the police come and say, you can't do this.
I čim smo počeli da delimo knjige, došla je policija. Ne možete vi to?
The story of my life.
Moja životna priča.
Everywhere we go, they say, go away, go away.
Gde god da dođete, oteraju vas. Idite odavde.
Anyway, a devotee met a lawyer from the ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union. Lawyer, what do you call him? Advocate for a big civil liberties union in America that likes to help the little guy.
Za neku veliku kompaniju koja voli da pomaže manjima.
He said, this is police harassment. Go to the airport and distribute books and get arrested to prove there's harassment.
I taj advokat je rekao, ovo je policijska kao tortura, nasilje i nepravda, to ne sme, ne bi smeli to da nastave, nego idite na aerodrom, nastavite da delite knjige i dozvolite da vas uhapse.
The lawyer said you're going to have to be arrested 20 times at least.
Advokat je rekao morate biti uhapšeni najmanje 20 puta.
Guess who got to do that service?
Pogodite ko je trebao da radi tu službu.
I didn't think it through.
Nisam ni razmišljala.
They said go out and do it, so I went out every day and did Sankirtan, distribute books. The police come, handcuffs, arrest me, take me to jail.
Ja bi otišao na aerodrom, delio bi knjige, policija bi došla, stavila bi mi lisice na ruke i odveli bi me u zatvor.
2-3 hours later, they let you out.
Pustite van posle 2-3 sata.
Mergendra picks me up, we go on Sankirtan out somewhere besides the airport.
Brigendra je došao i kaže, ajmo negdje drugdje na Sankirtan umjesto u...
Next morning, same thing, go back to the airport, meet the police.
Sljedeće jutro ponovo bi došli, sreli bi policiju.
Be like I walk in, distribute 2-3 books, and boom.
Ja bi ušao, podelio 2-3 knjige i odveli bi me u zatvor.
So 20 times.
Tako 20 puta.
We got the court case.
Bili smo na sudu.
It went all the way to the Supreme Court.
Do najvišeg vrhovnog suda.
The judge said, this is ridiculous, give them a restraining order, let them go to the airport and sell books.
I sudija je rekao, dozvolite im da dele knjige na...
So we go back to the airport and we start distributing books every day, 7 days a week.
Se na aerodrom i delili smo knjige 7 dana.
Maybe 3-4 devotees every day.
3-4 bakte svaki dan.
And the workers and the management in the airport,
radnici i menadžeri na aerodromu,
they saw all the arrests.
Vidjeli su da su nas hapsili, sva ta hapšenja.
So they're wondering, what? They arrest them, they take them away, now they're back.
Onda su se pitali šta bi, hapsili su ih, a sad su ponovo ovdje nazad.
So they did so many things to harass us. They would take books, we would distribute a lot of books. Some people, they put it down and leave it, and they buy a book and leave it and don't take it.
I dešavalo se svašta, nekad ljudi kupe knjige i stave ih samo sa strane, ne uzmu ih za sobom.
So these rascal employees at the airport would take the books they find, and they would find the pictures, and they would make childish, horrible, stupid, bathroom humor on it.
Onda ovi radnici koji rade na aerodromu bi ponekad uzeli te knjige koje su bile ostavljene, otvorili bi slike i onda bi crtali na slikama Krishna bi dodavali.
And they would tape it on the wall at the airport where we were.
I zalepili bi na zidove na aerodromu gdje smo delili.
And every single day they would come to me and they would threaten me. They say, the police didn't stop you, but we will stop.
Svaki dan bi dolazili i pretili, rekli bi, policija te nije zaustavila, ali mi ćemo.
So I went on like this with this harassment. One time, many times actually, they popped the tires in the Sankirtan van.
Svašta se dešavalo, bušili bi nam gume na kolima, Sankirtan kolima.
We would leave our books in a box at the side. They would come and pour Coca-Cola in the books.
Ili bi prosuli Coca-Colu u kutiju gdje smo imali knjige.
You want to kill them, but you can't.
Imaš osjećaj da bi ih ubio, ali ne možeš.
Lower than a straw on the street, humble like grass, tolerant like tree.
Ponizan kao drvo, najniži, paliji od slamke.
But I'm Irish, I'm a hockey player.
Ja sam Irac.
You know hockey?
Hokej igrač.
I want to kill these people so bad, but all we can say is Haribol.
Imaš osjećaj da bi ih ubio, ali jedino što možeš da kažeš je Haribol.
This went on for 10 months.
I to je išlo tako 10 mjeseci.
One morning, my tooth fell out. I had to go to the dentist.
Jednog jutra meni je ispao zub i nešto mu se desilo sa zubom i morao je da ide kod zubara.
So instead of going to the airport that day, I went to the dentist.
I umjesto da idem na aerodrom, otišao sam kod zubara.
And this one devotee brahmachari who looked just like me, skinny guy with glasses.
I jedan bakta koji je brahmachari, koji izgledao kao ja, mršav s naočarama.
He had been meditating on book distribution for 2 years, scared to do it.
2 godine je meditirao da ide na Sankirtan, ali se bojao da ide.
Somehow that day he decided, this is the day that I'm going to go on Sankirtan in the airport.
Nekako tog dana je odlučio, danas idem na Sankirtan na aerodrom.
And there was no other devotee, just me and him, and I went to the dentist, he went to the airport.
I nije bilo ni jednog drugog bakte tog dana. Ja sam otišao kod zubara, a on je otišao na aerodrom.
Now that day at the airport there was a hitman waiting for me.
Tog dana je tu bio čovjek koji je čekao da ja dođem.
You know, hitman.
Hitman.
Gangster, mafia, kill you. Right? Hitman. Waiting for me.
Ubojica koji je čekao na mene.
So, Pierre Tron, nice devotee, he shows up, book bag, ready to distribute.
Taj bakta se pojavio sa torbom sa knjigama, spreman da
I
dijeli.
can laugh now because he survived the attack. They didn't kill him.
Ja se smijem zato što on je preživio, nisu ga ubili.
But it wasn't funny at the time.
Ali nije bilo prijatno.
So he walks in. The first book he tries to distribute is to the hitman.
I prvu knjigu koju je pokušao da podeli je prišao o tom ubojici.
Hands him a Bhagavatam.
Dao mu je Bhagavatam.
This guy's big.
A taj čovjek je bio veliki.
Takes the book.
Uzme knjigu i udari ga.
One punch in the face.
Udario ga.
Poor Pierre Tron's unconscious on the floor.
Jedan bakta je bio na podu, on je svešćen.
Then the demon grabs his ears and bangs his head on the cement.
Onda je taj demon uzeo
the concrete floor.
Uši i udarao njegovu glavu na cement.
And if that wasn't enough, the guy stands up. You know, the devotee's unconscious.
Bakta je nesvestan, a njemu to nije bilo dosta.
Then the man kicks his face like a football.
I udario ga je nogom u lice kao da je to.
The man runs down the stairs. Somebody throws him a key.
I pobegao je niz stepenice, neko mu je dao ključ.
Jumps in a car that's illegally parked, drives away.
I uđe u kola koja nisu legalno bila parkirana i odveze se, pobegne.
So I come back from the dentist to the temple to take some lunch prasad.
Ja se vratim od zubara na prasadam u hram.
I get to the temple, the hospital's on the phone.
Ja dođem u hram, zovu iz bolnice.
All the devotees thought it was me.
I svi bakte su mislili da sam to ja.
I said, no, Pierre Tron went to the airport.
Ne, Pierre Tron je otišao umjesto mene.
The guy in the hospital says he's in a coma.
I iz bolnice su nam rekli da je u komi.
So I go to the hospital.
Ja odem u bolnicu.
I see him laying there, unconscious, bandaged up, broken jaw,
Vidim da leži
broken nose, black eyes. He just looks, he's all...
Polomili su mu nos i delicu.
And he wakes up.
Probudi se.
Divyanga. I said, Pierre Tron, what happened? Because I didn't know the story till later. A friend in the airport told me the scene.
Kaže Divyanga, ja kažem, Pierre Tron, šta se desilo?
So he tells me, gave a book, man, tried to kill me, I don't know. That's what happened.
To se dešava.
So what do? I go to the airport.
Šta ja radim? Odem na aerodrom.
I walk into the airport, book bag, I'm ready to go. The demons at the airport see me. Here he is, same guy, books. We thought we killed him. He's in a hospital in a coma. How is he here?
Ovi demoni koji su tamo bili vide me da sam se vratio, potpuno sam normalan, sve mi je u redu, kao šta bi, za ga nismo isprebijali.
This is Nitai Padakamala. This is the mercy of Lord Nityananda. I had no other artificial reason to go to the airport, only for Sankirtan.
To je milost gospodina Nityananda, nemam nijedan drugi veštački razlog da idem na aerodrom nego zbog Sankirtana.
And devotional service is haitakiya pratiyata. You can't interrupt it.
I predano služenje ne može biti ometeno.
Prabhupada said if you're serious and sincere, then you can progress in devotional service.
Prabhupada kaže ako si ozbiljan, iskren i ozbiljan, da ćeš napraviti napredak u duhovnom životu.
So when I got back to the airport, I was thinking, what's going to happen next?
Kad sam se vratio na aerodrom, pitao sam se šta će sada se.
And I'm looking at all the big ones, and I'm thinking, which one's going to jump? You know, who's going to kill me?
I gledam ove osobe koji su veliki, pitam se koji će sada me napadne.
Now there was no blown up building, there was no firing squad, but it was pretty scary.
Nije bilo zgrada koje su eksplodirale, kao što je Maharaj rekao jutros, i krvi, ali je bilo...
And we gave classes about this. We gave classes about this for months.
I onda smo davali lekcije mesecima o tome.
The Bhagavatam classes and the Gita classes was all about, and Pierre Tron healed And he went out, I took him out of Sankirtan, and he came back and distributed books for years.
I taj Bhakta Peričan se oporavio, ja sam ga vodio u Sankirtan I nastavio da deli knjige godinama.
So you never know what's going to happen when you get involved with God's mission.
Nikad ne znate šta će da se desi kad ste uključeni u Božju službu.
I like to think that if I would have gotten beaten, I would still go on Sankirtan, but I always thought, wow, that was really nice. Thank you, Prabhupada, for sparing me that.
Volio bih da mislim da bilo bi mi drago da su mene istukli, ali često mislim hvala ti Prabhupada što si me toga poštedili.
What was my point? Oh, I just want to tell that story. Anyway, my main thing is because I do Sankirtan I do 4 days a week. I go out and distribute books. And Govinda Mohini, Mega Rupa Govinda Mohini, my wife and my daughter Radhe, they support my book distribution.
Ja idem 4 dana u nedelji, idem u Sankirtan. Moje ime bilo Mega Rupa Harikeša, sad sam Govinda Mohini. Oni podržavaju moj Sankirtan.
When I married her, I'd been married dozens of times, but when I decided to get married again, I thought I better pick someone who can help me and be good association, so I picked her. And she is good association. She's Sankirtan devotee.
Oženjen pre toga, ali odlučio da se oženi sa mnom jer misli ona će mi pomoći da ostanem čvršći u predanom služenju.
I knew her history from Harikesh and book distribution in Europe, and I said maybe we could be spiritual together.
I znao sam istoriju kako ona delila knjige.
And devotees come to me in Alacho all the time and ask me, you still do book distribution?
I u Alačaj, na Floridi gde mi živimo, Bhakta dođe I pitaju me još uvek radiš Sankirtan?
And when I say, yeah, what else am I going to do?
Kažem, naravno, šta drugo da radim?
They can't believe, they go, wow, it's amazing, and then they want to sponsor books.
Oni ne veruju I onda sponzorišu knjige.
Many devotees that can't personally go out and do what I do, they come to me and say, here's a case of books, please distribute this for me, dear.
Onda mnogi bhakte kupe knjige I daju da se podele, daju njemu da podeli.
Haribo, Jai Radhakunta Jai. Jai, multitude of deities, Jai Gaurnita, Jai, hundreds of times. And then they always inevitably say, how do you stay inspired?
I onda uvek pitaju kako ostaneš inspirisan.
And I tell them the same thing that Tripurari Maharaj told me 40 years ago, that we have to hear the chant constantly.
I ja im kažem ono što je meni Tripurari Maharaj rekao pre 40 godina, da moramo stalno da slušamo I...
When the BBT party was in your temple, they had a designated room, and all we did in there was read Prabhupada's books.
Bila je jedna posebna soba kad smo išli u Sankirtan gdje bi samo išli I čitali knjige.
Manasuda Prabhu used to distribute about 80 hardbound books a day in the Chicago airport.
Manasuda Prabhu je delio 80 velikih knjiga na aerodromu u Chicago.
This was back when everybody went on Sankirtan.
I to je bilo u vreme kad su svi išli u Sankirtan.
And they would inevitably come through and find Manasuda and say, how do you distribute 80 books a day? It's huge.
Da bi došli I pitali Manasuda, kako deliš 80 knjiga na dan?
And Manasuda would say, japa.
On bi rekao japa.
They're waiting for some trick, some explanation, some lines or something. He said, no, it's japa.
Bhakte bi čekali na neko drugačije objašnjenje ili neki trik, on bi rekao samo japa.
Vaisheshika Prabhu likes to say that the outside preaching is just an extension of the Shravanam Kirtanam that we do here.
Vaisheshika Prabhu često kaže da je to propovedanje koje mi radimo samo produžetak mantranja I slušanja koje...
And when you go out to interact with the conditioned souls, these sanmohita jivas, if you don't have Krishna to give them, unfortunately, then you're going to get their association.
I kad smo mi van u Sankirtanu u toj razmeni sa njima, ukoliko mi nismo jaki, onda mi dobijemo druženje od njih, prelaze na nas.
So without good sadhana and a lot of Shravanam Kirtanam.
Tako da bez dobre sadhane I jako puno Shravana I Kirtana,
it's very difficult, and I can personally testify. I've distributed books in many levels of Krishna consciousness.
Onda bi to bilo jako teško i lično mogu da potvrdim to jer sam dijelio knjige na različitim svesnostima.
But it's really yoga, and Prabhupada, like I said, Bhakti yoga means Shravanam Kirtanam, so it's constant hearing and chanting, whether I'm giving you the hearing and chanting, or whether we're sharing, or whether I'm just hearing.
Ali yoga je, bhakti yoga, to je stalno slušanje i mantranje.
It's okay. Once you take yourself and the books and you go out there amongst all of the Sanmohita Jiva, the illusioned Jiva.
U jednom kad uzmete knjige i odete među ove džive, među ljude koji su pod iluzijom.
And I like to boil it down to one Jiva at a time.
I ja obično svedem to na jednu osobu u trenutku.
I reverse roles with these people and I think, what if that is me?
I ja zamenim uloge i kažem šta ako bi ja bio na mjestu ove osobe.
And I think if he doesn't meet me, he doesn't get the mercy.
I kako ja vidim to je da ako ova osoba se ne sretne sad sa mnom i ne dobije milost.
And there's 7 billion people on the planet, so I like one at a time, and I just look at each soul, I meet them, and I try to give them some mercy.
Ima 7 biliona ljudi na ovoj planeti i srećem jednog po jednog da im dam milost.
And if in your heart and in your mind you're thinking, Nadia Nagare Nitai Neche Neche Gai, or so many other similar transcendental mantras that we have.
A u svom umu mislim na Nadia.
Adiya Nagare Nitai Neche Neche Gai means Nitai is traveling around Nadia singing the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Nitai, što znači Nitai putuje kroz Nadiju i peva slave Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
So whether I'm in an airport or concert or football game or Novi Sad,
bilo da sam na aerodromu, na koncertu ili u Novom Sadu,
Nadia Nagare Nitai Neche Neche Gai, I'm out there dancing with Nitai, Balaram himself, with Bhakti Vinod, Bhakti Siddhanta, Prabhupada, everybody's with me.
Ja sam na ulici i plešem sa Nityanandom.
Haribol! So if you go out with that crew,
ako idete u Sankirtan sa tim društvom,
then you have no worries because I go, oh, I'm small, I'm scared, I'm weak, I'm in Maya, but Bhakti Vinod's here, Prabhupada's here, Gaur Nitai's here.
Ali nema potrebe da se bojite jer Nityananda je tu, Prabhupada je tu.
And they're waiting for me to do my service.
I oni čekaju na mene da radim moju službu.
Because there's so many impediments, the mind and so many things.
Ima toliko prepreka,
I had the airport for 30 years with climate control.
Ja sam radio na aerodromu
30 years.
30
Many different airports.
Gde je klima.
If it rains, I distribute books. If it's hot, I distribute books. If it's cold, who cares? I'm inside.
Ako kiša pada, ja delim knjige. Ako je vrućina slima, ja sam unutra, ja delim moje knjige. Ašraja, utočište.
Then they said, no more airport. You can go to the airport. They changed the laws. You can give the Bhagavad Gita, but if you ask for any money, then we'll arrest you, and we know that story.
Ali promenili su zakon, tako da su rekli, možeš ići na aerodrom, možeš dati knjige ljudima, ali ako ti daju $1, onda ćemo te uhapsiti.
So I thought, what to do now?
I onda sam se pitao šta sad.
So Vaisheshika, who's actually Avadut book distributor, amazing personality. I was fortunate when I joined that traveling party, the BBT party came to my temple, and it was Vaisheshika Prabhu and me together.
Vaisheshika Prabhu koja je Sankirtana Vaduta, kada sam se pridružio Sankirtan pokretu, Vaisheshika je bio tu.
And we made a vow that whatever we do in this life,
mi smo dali zavet da što god radimo u ovom životu,
we'll never give up on Prabhupada's mission.
Nikad nećemo napustiti Prabhupadovu misiju.
And Vaish was the same way as Tripurari. Whenever we weren't selling books, we read the books.
I Vaish je isto kao i Tripurari. Kad god delite knjige, čitajte knjige.
And Prabhupada said in that class, that famous class, where Prabhupada said, what if you're selling books and the person says, what's it about?
Ta poznata lekcija kad Prabhupada kaže, delite knjige, a šta je u knjizi?
Prabhupada knew we weren't reading.
Šrila Prabhupada je znao da mi nismo čitali knjige.
He said they'll ask you, what is this book? And you'll say, I don't know, my spiritual master told me to sell it.
I Prabhupada je rekao, pitaće vas šta je u knjigama, a vi ćete reći, ne znam, moj duhovni učitelj je rekao da ih prodajem.
So remembering these old words of always hear and chant, always hear and chant, we would sit after we do Sankirtan. Vice had this thing, we had to read at least one chapter of Bhagavad Gita a day, and I'm talking 1973.
Sećajući se tih reči da moramo da čitamo knjige, i svaki put posle deljenja, to je bilo još 1973. Mi bi trebali da sedemo i čitamo knjige.
Almost always said chapter 2.
I gotovo uvek bi bilo drugo poglavlje Bhagavad Gita, zato što ima 80 stihova.
So I start chanting the verses. I'm so tired. Vice, no, wake up.
Ja bih počeo da čitam i bio sam umoran, a Vajš bi rekao, probudi se.
Thank you, Vice, for that.
Hvala Vajš.
Now I read.
Sad čitam.
It takes practice. Also, I listen to iPod and I watch on computer and I listen to discs all the time. But I love to read and I love to touch Prabhupada's books, and it's part of my sadhana in the morning. I have to read.
To je praktikovanje, ali ja slušam lekcije i na kompjuteru, ja tako god, ali ja uvek sednem i čitam, volim da čitam.
And another thing about traveling, it blows your schedule, and that also affects you too, and I feel that too.
Kad putujete, onda to utiče na vašu sadhanu i osjeća se.
Luckily, we have this ocean of nectar here. You can just jump in, Rath Yatra, 12-hour kirtan, and gurus, maharajas, nectar association.
Ali na sreću imamo ovaj okean druženja, Ratha Yatra, Harinam, toliko puno božanstva.
But it's all the same process of bhakti yoga that Prabhupada always said, just stay engaged in bhakti yoga and do your service.
Ali isti proces bhakti yoga gdje Prabhupada kaže, budete uključeni i radite svoju službu.
Another thing, I just gave a class on the last week before we left, and I mentioned this quote from Bhaktisiddhanta.
Još jedna stvar, pre nego što ćemo napustiti Alaču, dao sam lekciju i naveo sam ovaj citat od Bhaktisiddhanta.
Bhaktisiddhanta, Saraswati Thakur. He said that even if you don't take advantage of all the literature and all the scholars of Vaishnava,
on kaže, čak i ako ne uzmete utočište svih spisa i Vaishnava,
if you perform your seva sincerely,
ako obavljate svoju dužnost ozbiljno,
Krishna will enlighten you from within your heart personally.
Krishna će vas prosvetiti u srcu, Krishna će vas lično prosvetiti u
That's a pretty good deal. Even if you don't read, he's still going to enlighten you in the heart.
To je prilično dobro, čak i ako if you don't read.
Even if you don't read.
Čak i ako ne čitate, dobit ćete prosvetljenje.
So that's the good news for anybody who's not reading.
I to je dobra novost za one koji ne čitaju.
Even you're illiterate, doesn't mean you can listen, you can watch, so many ways to associate.
Možete da slušate, ima toliko načina da se družite.
Vice says you should get yourself in front of transcendental sound for at least 4 hours a day.
Vice kaže da treba da se stavite u okolinu,
get in front of it, get near it.
Da budete u blizini transcendentalne zvučne vibracije bar 4 sata dnevno.
And he tells devotees when they say, I want to distribute books, he says, well, get the books and pile them in front of your front door.
On kaže baktama, ako hoćeš da deliš knjige, prvo uzmi knjige i stavi ih ispred svojih vrata.
And then he said, no, not the door, put them in front of the television.
Kaže, ne ispred vrata, stavi knjige ispred televizije.
You'll have to distribute them to move them out of the way.
Jer ako hoćeš, morat ćeš da podeliš knjige da bi ih sklonio.
Because he has these 4 rules. Sadhana, get books.
Imate 4 pravila. Sadhana,
the more you show, the more you sell, and get organized.
Sadhana, nabavi knjige, što više pokažeš, više ćeš podeliti i organizujte se.
But it all hinges on the first one.
Ali sve je bazirano na prvom.
If there's no sadhana, it'll be very hard to distribute.
Ako nema sadhane, onda je teško deliti.
I've seen temples that have hundreds of cases of books, and for whatever reason, they're not being distributed.
Video sam hramove koji imaju stotine knjiga, ali iz bilo kog razloga nisu podeljene.
So recently, in the last few years, Vaisheshika Prabhu has been traveling around to temples and telling devotees, hey, let's hear and chant.
Nedavno Vajšešika Prabhu putuje po templovima, po hramovima i kaže hajde da slušamo i pevamo.
And the results is there. It's huge. You can see it online. You can see what their results are, their book distribution in many different temples, not just in California where Vaish lives.
I rezultati su veliki, možete vidjeti na listi za deljenje knjiga, ne samo u Kaliforniji gdje on propoveda i na drugim mjestima, jer on putuje i na drugih mjesta.
So when because they always ask, how do you go out? How do you do it? What do you do? And I always like to remind them that it's all there in the Shastra.
I kad me pitaju kako uspevaš, kako ti radiš, ja im kažem da je sve u knjigama.
Like that verse in the 9th canto that says, when a man is not envious and doesn't wish harm for anyone else.
Kao ovaj stih u 9. poglavlju, kad osoba nije zavidna i ne želi zlo drugima.
He is equipoised and he sees the whole world as happy.
On je isti prema svima i vidi cijeli svet da je srećan.
Sarva Shuka Mayadrisha. All he sees, everybody's happy.
Sve što ta osoba vidi je da su svi srećni, zar to ne bi bilo divno.
If you have that vision, then it's a lot easier to go out and interact with the Sanmohita Jivas.
Ako imate takvu viziju, onda je mnogo lakše ići van i imati kontakt sa Samohita Jivama.
Prabodhananda Saraswati said, Vishvam Purna Sukayate, that a transcendental person sees the whole world as happy. I work on this because I need this.
Dentalna osoba vidi sve, osobe da su srećni i meni je to potrebno.
It's all part of the sadhana by the hearing and chanting, reminding ourselves what we're actually doing out there so we don't get distracted, because it's very easy to get distracted.
I to je sve deo sadhane, da pevamo i da mantramo, jer onda ne budemo distracted, ometeni kad smo van u Sankirtanu.
Because there's so many things and the senses are so active and the mind is so busy looking for them that if we don't practice, then we will be dragged here, there, so many places.
Toliko stvari se dešava oko nas da ako ne praktikujemo pevanje i slušanje, onda će nas odvući.
You can't be stressed enough the hearing and chanting, and I know you all know this philosophy. I just like to repeat it because if I don't hear and chant, then I have to get a new job.
Ne može se dovoljno istaći koliko je važno slušanje i pevanje, i ako ja ne slušam, onda bi morao da nađem novi posao.
The fact is that the whole movement is actually the mission, whether you're in the kitchen or on the altar or whatever your seva is. If you fix the van that takes the books out, or if you buy the boga that cooks the feast, or you buy the jewelry to make for the deities, all of these things are all Sankirtan, because this is a Sankirtan movement. Is that too much? It's all Sankirtan.
Činjenica je da je zapravo sve Sankirtan, jer bilo koju službu da radite, bilo da ste u kuhinji ili da popravljate automobil ili imate kapelice, da pravite nakit za božanstva, jednostavno to je sve Sankirtan.
So whatever we can do to help Srila Prabhupada's mission is what everybody's individual, mercy, however they can take that mercy, that's how they get it.
Sve kako možemo da pomognemo Srila Prabhupadu je individualna milost kako god može.
I want to tell another Sankirtan story. This one isn't so drastic.
Imam još jednu Sankirtan priču i ova nije tako drastična.
I distribute a lot of books. I carry a book bag, so I put most of the big books in my car, and I carry a book bag full of perfection yoga, chant, be happy, higher taste, etc.
Ja uglavnom držim velike knjige u kolima, a u torbi nosim manje knjige, savršenstvo joge i slično.
And I work in parking lots of hotels and malls and.
I radim na parking lotu, ispred prodavnice ili hotela, gdje god je parking.
So people get in their cars, I walk up to them and I give them a lollipop.
Ljudi dođu, se vraćaju iz prodavnice u kola, ja im priđem sa ovom blizalicom i dam im.
I say, we're giving out smile pops.
I kažem im, dajemo vam nasmejane blizalice.
They all smile, they take it.
Oni se svi nasmeju i uzmu.
So on one side the girl was a little girl and then grandmother.
I jednom bila je jedna mala devojčica i njena baka.
They take the lollipops. The little girl says, "Today's my birthday. I'm 6 years old."
I oni uzmu lizalicu i mala devojčica kaže, danas mi je rođendan, imam 6 godina.
So I pull out a Perfection of Yoga and say, "Srećan rođendan. Srećan rođendan."
Ja izvodim knjigu i dam joj i kažem srećan rođendan.
The kid's in ecstasy. She's got the lollipop, she's got the book. The grandma starts the car, starts to drive away, notices yoga.
I dete je presrećno dobilo je lizalicu, dobilo je knjigu, sedne u kola, ali baka primeti knjigu na kojoj piše yoga.
Grandma Asura. She grabs the book. Throws it out the window like a frisbee.
I baci je kroz prozor kao da je frisbee.
Book flies about 20 feet.
Knjiga odleti 20 stopala.
The book, little book, it lands standing up.
I to je mala knjiga, ali se spusti i ostane da stoji uspravno.
The little girl. My book, my birthday book. Screaming, crying, tears.
Dete počne da plače, moja knjiga. To mi je bio rođendanski poklon.
Grandma Sura, she stops the car, puts it in park. All right, runs out, picks up the book, gives it to the kid.
Baka pritisne na košnicu, zaustavi kola, izađe i pod.
They drive away. The kid's holding the book, eating the sucker, so happy.
I oni se odvezu, devojčica drži svoju knjigu i smeje se i srećna.
Brihan Mridanga ki jai. You see how that works? You never know what's going to happen. You know, they might like you, they might hate you, they might try to get somebody to kill you.
I kako to funkcioniše, nikad ne znate šta će se desiti, niko vas može voliti, neko vas može mrziti ili će da vas ubije ili...
I've been arrested over 60 times.
Mene su uhapsili preko 60 puta.
Every time the judge says, "Why are you here?"
Svaki put sudija me pitao, zašto si ti ovdje?
You have to wait for the docket in the court, and they hear all that stealing and drugs and this and robbery.
Jer oni su tu na sudu i treba da slušaju sve o tim ili ubistvima ili krađi ili šta god da se desi, dođu do mog slučaja.
They all say, "What did you do?"
I pitaju, a šta si ti radio?
I show them the book. I sold books.
Pokažem knjige, ja prodajem knjige.
So I give the judge the book. I say, "I heard in your court there's a lot of problems."
Dao sam knjigu sudi i kažem, čuo sam da ovdje u sudu ima puno problema.
These books talk about inner peace, harmony, how we can all live together more peacefully.
Ove knjige govore o unutrašnjem miru i harmoniji, kako svi zajedno možemo da živimo mirnije.
So the judge takes the book, hits the gavel and says, "All right, but he has to charge your court costs $200."
Sudija uzme knjigu, ali naravno mora da vam traži $200 za...
But I go on, I keep going on, this is what I do.
Ali ja nastavljam dalje, to je što ja radim.
And I like it.
I ja to volim.
I'm like a transcendental outlaw, like Robin Hood.
Nekad vidim sebe kao Robin Hooda, onaj koji je van zakoniti.
Because no matter what,
transcendentalno van zakoniti.
No matter what it looks like materially, I'm thinking, what does Prabhupada see?
Bez obzira kako to izgleda materijalno, ja razmišljam kako to Prabhupada vidi.
And that's all that matters.
I to je jedino što je važno.
I want to go back to God, and I don't want to stay here.
Ja hoću da idem nazad kući Bogu, ja ne želim da ostanem ovdje.
And if I can take as many back as I can, I'm doing it.
I ako mogu da povedem što više ljudi sa mnom, ja ću onda to da radim.
It's like I brought a bunch of books, and we were putting books when we were packing, and it's heavy.
Kad smo se spremali da dođemo ovdje i kofere i stvari, teško.
I put some books in there because I can't go without books. I'm going in the airports.
Ja ne mogu da idem bez knjiga, odem na aerodrom.
So in the airport, in the plane, wherever I was, I give people books and talk to them.
Gdje god da sam na aerodromu, u avionu, to pričam s ljudima i dajem knjigu.
And it's just amazing to see the reaction when you give people books and also the mantra.
I divno je kad vidite reakciju ljudi kad uzmu knjige i također mantru.
We've had mantra cards forever.
Mi smo imali ove mantra karte za oduvek.
But just in the last 8 or 9 years, Vaish has gotten me to teach the mantra to each person.
Ali zadnjih 8 godina,
about 8 years ago when he started, he made me do it.
Zapravo on me je naterao na neki način da...
So now when I meet people, whether they take a book, whether they don't take a book, whatever they do, I say, oh, wait a minute, I want to teach you this mantra. I'm a yoga teacher.
Tako da sad kad sretnem neku osobu, bilo da oni uzmu knjigu ili ne uzmu knjigu, jer kažem čekajte.
And right now,
prvo hoću da vas naučim nešto.
Now in America at least, yoga is very positive, very hot. Yoga's hot.
Trenutno u Americi yoga je velika.
There's a few grandmothers that don't like it, but
možda par baka koje ne vole, ali ostale vole yogu.
I like to teach the mantra to the person, and I just say, look, I have this mantra, and I say, it's real simple, can you repeat after me?
Ja volim da poučavam ljude ovu mantru. Kažem, jako je jednostavno, molim vas ponovite iza mene, oni me pogledaju u oči.
And you give them the mantra, and you look in their eye the first time they get the mantra. It's amazing.
Pogledajte ih u oči prvi put kad dobiju mantru, to je neverovatno.
And I've actually had people say, I'm not interested, I don't want the book. And I say, well, let me just give you this because I'm a yoga teacher. This helps with peace of mind.
I bilo bi ljudi koji kažu, neću knjigu, ali ja bi im rekao, ja sam yoga teacher, da molim vas dozvolite mi da...
Then they chant the mantra and I give them the card.
Onda oni pročitaju mantru, ja im dam ovu karticu.
The vice is putting on the other side. Sing it loud to yourself, with others, silently.
Vajš je stavio na kartici, čitajte glasno, za sebe ili...
It says here, it removes distress, awakens happiness from within, and bestows all good fortune.
Otklanja stres, povećava svu dobru sreću.
And I've had people after they chant the Maha Mantra once say, let me give you something.
I često bi ljudi nakon kad pročitaju ovu Maha Mantru, bi rekli, čekaj da ti dam neku donaciju.
So I really, and I was walking down the street in Valjevo the other day, I didn't have any books.
Neki dan sam išao na ulicama Valjeva, nisam imao nijednu knjigu.
And this guy tried to sell me something.
Neka osoba je pokušala nešto meni da proda.
And me and Rade said, no, we want to give you this.
I ja i Rade i ja smo mu rekli, mi hoćemo tebi da damo ovo.
And he, rare as he was, could speak a little English.
On je znao malo engleskog.
And we started chanting, and immediately he started singing from Hair.
I čim smo pomenuli Hare Krishna, on se setio iz filma Kosa.
I said, repeat after me, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He went, oh, I know this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. I said, how do you know this? He said, Hair.
Pitao sam ga, odakle znaš? On kaže iz filma Kosa.
In a remote part of the world, Valjevo.
Tako udaljenom delu sveta kao što je Valjevo.
All you gotta do is say Hare Krishna, somebody starts dancing.
Čim sam rekao Hare Krishna, čovjek je počeo da pleše.
The opportunity for Prabhupada's mission is practically unlimited.
Mogućnosti za misiju Šrila Prabhupada su praktično neograničene.
For some reason, if you don't know what to do, just ask.
Iz bilo kog razloga, ako ne znate šta da radite,
if you don't know what to do, just ask somebody.
Ako ne znaš šta da radiš, onda samo pitajte
nekog. Like, hey Prabhu, what do I do?
Prabhu, šta da radim?
And Vice will say, well, you distribute books and prashadam, and you teach them the mantra, and you go to Harinam, and you do huge programs like this on a mountain, and you go to Navi Sad, and you take over the place and Prat Yatra.
Delite knjige, prasadam, idete na Rata Yatru.
It's a joyful process, and I just feel fortunate to be able to be involved in it. And thank you very much, Prabhus, for listening. Questions?
Kako se sreo Šrila Prabhupada?
Okay, well, how I joined, you heard. Now, when I was still a brahmachari in Chicago distributing books.
Bio sam brahmachari u Chicago, delio sam knjige.
And by then it was really hard to get close.
To vreme je bilo jako teško prići Šrila Prabhupada.
Sannyasis, GBC, president, guards,
oni bi bili kao
chowkidars, but
osiguranje oko Šrila Prabhupada.
Seva will save you. So I have volunteered to clean Prabhupada's room.
Ali služba će te spasiti, ja sam dobrovoljno se prijavio da spremim njegovu sobu.
So me and another brahmachari got to go in Prabhupada's room when he would go on his morning walk. We go in the room and we clean.
Jedan brahmachari i ja bi otišli u Prabhupadovu sobu da čistimo dok bi Šrila Prabhupada išao na jutarnje šetnje.
And we get dust off the dictaphone, the pen,
Uzeli bi prašinu sa svega diktafona,
all Prabhupada's nectar, giant books, Sanskrit books, all nectar, Prabhupada's nectar. The recent translated from the night before. Wow, this is it, fresh nectar.
Prethodne noći što je upravo preveo.
And a Prabhupada's servant, Upendra,
Upendra koji je bio sluga Šrila Prabhupada.
Hey Div, you want to go on a morning walk? Yes!
Je rekao, hoćeš da ideš na jutarnju šetnju?
So the next day I came there all ready to go on the morning walk.
Sljedećeg jutra sam bio spreman da idem na jutarnju šetnju.
GBCs, sannyasis, temple presidents, brahmachari, get out of the way.
I svi GBC i sannyasi rekli, šta ti tražiš ovdje brahmachari?
It's okay, I'll clean the room.
Ja sam rekao, dobro, ići ću čistiti sobu.
Go back to the dictaphone, the tape, the pen, Prabhupada's stuff, clean his bed, take the dust.
Krevet, uzmeš prašinu.
Next day, all right, Div, be there early, morning walk, same thing, out of here.
Opet Divyanga, hoćeš
Brahmachari, who are you?
jutarnju šetnju, hoću, spreman sam, oni me opet izbace, ko si ti, nazad.
So on the fourth day,
Četvrti dan.
I looked like I was going to get there because
Izgledalo je kao da ću da uspem da...
my dear god brother Brahmananda,
Moj dragi
there.
Brahmananda nije bio tu.
So I'm ready.
Ja sam spreman.
What happens if it starts to rain?
Počne da pada kiša.
The morning walk becomes the morning ride.
I moment jutarnje šetnje postane jutarnja vožnja.
So they pull up some cars in this big Lincoln.
Dovezu veliki kola Lincoln.
And my friend who was my GBC from my zone, Jagadish Prabhu.
Jagadish Prabhu koji je bio moj prijatelj.
He gets out of the car and says, Div, you can have my seat.
On izađe iz kola i kaže, Divyanga, ti možeš da imaš moje sedište.
Ah! I get in the car, I'm in the car.
Uđem u kola, u kolima
Waiting for Prabhupada.
Čekamo na
Any
Prabhupada.
minute, Prabhupada's going to
Svaki
come.
čas Prabhupada da dođe.
2 seconds later, Brahmananda opens the door.
2 sekunde kasnije Brahmananda otvori.
Get out of the car, Brahmachari! He's sannyasi. What can you say? I'm like, you're killing me! So I clean the room. But before I clean the room, Prabhupada's still in the room.
Ali pre nego što odem da čistim sobu, Prabhupada je bio još u sobi.
Upendra saw the situation.
Upendra je video situaciju.
He said, Div, how would you like to garland him?
Kaže, Divyanga, jel bi htio da mu daš garland Šrila Prabhupada?
This is my big chance, you know, I get to garland Prabhupada.
Dam garland Šrila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada said one word to me in my entire life.
Pa mi je rekao samo jednu jedinu reč u celom mom životu.
I'm scared, I'm shaking, I walk up, I garland Prabhupada face to face.
Sad se tresem, stavljam garland u lice sa Šrila Prabhupada.
I say, Jai Prabhupada.
Rekao sam, Jai Prabhupada.
And Prabhupada looks me right in the eye and says, thanks. Not thank you. Not thank you, thanks. And I'm like, wow. I'm stunned. I get down to pay obeisance, but it was raining, and Prabhupada said, no. The devotees all started to hit the ground, and he no.
Odam poštovanje, pada kiša, Prabhupada kaže, ne.
So I'm going down, and Prabhupada's like this on my kurta.
Ja kako sam pošla da odam poštovanje u Šrila Prabhupada.
I was touched.
Moju kurtu i podigao me.
And that was it. Now there was other times that I was in the room for darshan, you know, in the back of the room for darshan. In San Francisco, Rath Yatra, Prabhupada looked right through me. I know devotees have this experience. Many classes I was dying to get that look. I was looking at Prabhupada, trying to look. But then, when he did it that time in San Francisco, Rath Yatra, he looked right through me and it scared me. I was like, oh my God, he knows me.
Tog trenutka kad me zaista pogledao, kao kad gleda kroz vas, prepala sam se, imaš osjećaj, on me zna.
I don't know what it was, but it was like, whoa, intense. And you feel like your heart has been bared before the Lord.
Imate osjećaj kao da vam je srce razotkriveno ispred Gospodina.
But other than that, I didn't get any association with Prabhupada. That was it.
Osim toga,
And that was another thing. you never know what's going to happen. So
Inicijacija to je druga stvar, nikad ne znate šta će se desiti.
after 6 months in the temple, they recommend me. I had a letter. They wouldn't let me touch it.
Posle 6 meseci predložili su me za
Prabhupada's
inicijaciju.
letter. You know, Bhakta Dan, Divyanga.
Pismo Šila Prabhupada, Bhakta Dan, Divyanga.
We had the letter.
Imali smo pismo.
And we were near New Vrindavan. And he said, Prabhupada's coming to New Vrindavan soon. We can wait.
Dolazi, Novi
And I'm
Vrindavan,
waiting.
ćemo da čekamo.
I don't want to wait. I'm
Želim
waiting.
da čekam.
A couple of months go by, and they come again. They say, Prabhupada changed the schedule. He's not coming.
Posle par meseci,
And you can take initiation,
raspored ne dolazi.
but somebody else is going to do the yoga.
Dobićeš inicijaciju, ali neko drugi će raditi jage.
And being young, I just said, yes, I want the initiation. I want the fire now. I want it.
I kako, pošto sam bio mlad, ja sam rekao, ja hoću jage
Stupid.
sad.
Mudha. I could have waited.
Bio budala, treba sam da čekam.
But that's how that went. I got initiated in
Ali
New
tako je bilo.
Vrindavan.
Dobio sam inicijaciju Novog Vrindavana,
But I had that letter finally. I got the letter.
ali imam pismo.
And I had my beads, which I lost the first day.
I dobio sam džapu, ali sam izgubio prvog dana.
Someone wrote a letter to Prabhupada and said, I lost my beads. Please chant another set of beads.
Neko isto izgubio i rekao Šila Prabhupada, izgubio sam džapu, molim te možeš da opet mantraš i da dobijem.
And Prabhupada, he did it, but he wrote in the letter, these beads, those beads, just chant.
Šila Prabhupada je to uradio, ali je poslao pismo. Ova džapa ili ona džapa, samo mantra je.
But as far as association with Prabhupada, every time you crack the book, you're with Prabhupada.
A što se tiče druženja sa Prabhupada, svaki put kada otvorite
Vani
knjigu,
vocal.
da ste sa Prabhupadom, Vani.
I think it's Prashad. Anything else? Thank you so much, Prabhu. Brihan Mridanga ki jai! Nam Sankirtan, Bhaktivinoda ki jai!